Hey, welcome to World Entertainment, and it's finally over. Yes, Rings of Power Episode 8 has finally come, which means we've reached the end of Season 2, which means we will no longer be getting...
I bring you love.
Yeah, and if you recall, they said that the two last episodes, well, they never said two last episodes, but they said there would be a 2-episode battle. That was all BS, because as I said in the last review, when the battle kind of pretty much ended in that episode, it was like, how exactly are you stretching this out to 2? Yeah, they don't. They really don't. But this episode is horrendously bad and unintentionally hysterical. Now, I'm going to jump into one thing right away. And that is Gandalf, not Gandalf, but it's totally Gandalf. We've all been joking, and you've probably seen online other people, other channels, really joking about how he's going to get the name and how he's going to find his staff. If you remember, everybody's been saying, oh, everyone keeps calling him a grand elf. And he's probably going to go, grand elf, Gandalf. That's exactly what they do. I am not joking here. That is exactly what they do.
You serious?
Yep. They're literally, all the Harfoots are walking away and they're like, oh, thanks, Grand Elf. And then the next one, you're a fine one, Grand Elf. And he literally goes, Grand Elf. And sure enough, when he returns to Tom Bombadil with his staff, yes, he found, because it did, in fact, as people were saying, come from the tree that was in the snails, or whatever the hell they're called, the other Harfoots, their encampment, the big tree. Yes, that's where he finds his staff. And he literally says to Tom Bombadil, they're gonna call me Gandalf, aren't they? And you're just like head in hands, laughing hysterically. Like when it happens, when he actually does the Gandalf, I couldn't stop laughing. Like, oh my Christ. This episode also does a little more of the whole, hey, remember this person, you're supposed to feel sad because they're dead. You remember whatever the hell her name was, her. Unfortunately, her death had the opposite reaction, because I'm pretty sure we were all like this.
I'm glad you did.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah, we were glad you were dead. But this episode is just so stupid. It starts off with the dwarves with... oh, by the way, remember they said in the last episode that King Durin turned his axe on all of his men? And you think, wow, he slaughtered his own men. Yeah, he didn't. They're all still alive. They're just injured. All of them. They're all still alive. But he does break through, and you're in the cavern, and yes, the Balrog that shouldn't be awake is awake, and he gets his big hero send-off by jumping axe first at it and dies. Yay. It's so stupid. But you realize as well that they're in the cavern where Disa was to find the ball, and you're like, wait a minute. He's been hammering through this wall to get into this cavern. Like, he has this big ramming thing, and he's been doing that. He's been attacking his own men to stop them from stopping him to do this. And once he's in there, and Durin the Fourth comes in as well, all I could think of is, why didn't you just go through the entrance that Diesel walked through? You know, the one that's like 10 feet away from a market. They seem to have forgotten about that. No, he just hammers through a wall. So the Balrog is awake for 1,000 years too early. Oh, by the way, yes, it should be noted now that, of course, because Gandalf is confirmed to be Gandalf, that the Dark Elf, or Dark Wizard I should say, is confirmed then to be Saruman. And not just that, but Kieran Hines, who plays him, you notice, because right after you have the dwarf stuff, then it goes into the credits, and then we have Gandalf walking into the Harfoot's place, and the Dark Wizard is there, and he pretty much destroys the encampment and whatnot. You notice that Ciarán Hinds is actually trying to do a Christopher Lee voice. He's actually trying to do the voice, which gives it away as well. So that's all nothing. We go to Numenor, and it's in chaos. Pharazôn has lost his shit now because Meriel has the sea worm thing was threw her back, and they've decided to say, oh no, the reason it threw her back is because she's allied with Sauron. Look, we have a document that says so, and start taking all the faithful and all this crap. And it's hilarious because the daughter then, Elendil's made up daughter, Thundertits, goes running to warn him that they're coming for him. And this is hysterical. She's running through like riots, all the soldiers taking all the people, everything, just chaos happening. She turns a corner and it's quiet. Everyone's just sitting there having cups of tea and whatnot. You can't hear anything. It's literally right around the corner. So that was all stupid. Then Celebrimbor is murdered in this one finally. Sauron just sticks him to a pole, or sticks him with a pole and puts him up on the ceiling. While at the same time Galadriel has been captured by the orcs. Coming out of the secret entrance that no one knew about, she walks out with a ton of other elves, and all the orcs are just sitting there waiting. And she's like, let them go and I'll give myself up to your father. And they're like, give me one good reason. And she takes out the 9 rings and goes, I'll give you 9. You're like, sweet Jesus Christ. And as, Sauron finally kills Celebrimbor, Father of the Year orc comes walking in with a bunch of orcs and goes, are you Sauron? And then pretty much pledges their allegiance to him. Then out of nowhere we go, and we actually go back to Theo and Isildur. Yeah. And Isildur has a conversation or something with whatever her name was, the traitor bitch. And I'll be honest with you, I've no real idea what they were talking about. I zoned out and started looking at my phone at that stage. Then Pharazôn's little shithead son shows up, and he's like shocked to see Isildur still alive, and then just instantly is like a dick. And they're there not to bring supplies to this area, but in fact they're only going to give them supplies if they cut down trees and give it to them, because they're going to turn this area into a fortress basically, instead of whatever it is, in settlement or something. Then we have, now this part is hilarious because we finally get one of those moments that they keep doing in this show, which is not knowing how time works, because we have the orcs bringing Galadriel to Adar, and Adar has her ring on, so he's healed. He's elf or elvish again, and she immediately is like, yeah, okay, I accept your terms. And so they actually have Galadriel accepting terms to work with orcs. Wrap your head around that. But she's like, yeah, I accept your terms. And right as that's happening, other orcs walk up with Father of the Year orc on a stretcher. Now, here's the thing. So he's meant to be injured, and of course they turn on him and murder Adar. They pretty much do to him, they shank him like they did to Sauron when he was getting crowned. Here's the thing with the time. When Galadriel is captured, she's nowhere near the city because she went through the tunnel thing. She's already surrendered and been brought to Adar. While that's happening, Father of the Year orc hasn't even come into the tower yet. So she's already on her way to Adar before that orc walks into the furnace room thing to say, hey, are you Sauron? And yet, as soon as the orcs deliver her to Adar, Father of the Year one is being stretchered in. How? How is he there that quickly? It's almost like they went, we need this show to move forward very quick. Then her and Sauron start having a fight, and the stunt woman does great work, because it's literally a stunt woman. You can clearly see that it's not Morfydd Clark, because one, the woman actually has skill, is fast, and can hit her marks, while Morfydd Clark's close-ups of her doing it can't. And she has Sauron dead to rights at one stage, and she decides to stop fighting him and even lower her sword. Why? Because he turns back into Hellbrand. Yeah, wrap your heads around that one. And all he wants is the ring, and then he starts turning into her, then Celebrimbor, and all this crap. And then the most obvious thing happens. And I mean the obvious thing. He stabs her with the crown. By the way, she has her ring on. Adar just handed her ring back. She's standing right on a cliff edge, and we can all see it. It's like, oh yeah, she's just gonna jump off the cliff. And sure enough, she makes it look like she's gonna hand Sauron the ring, and then just goes, heal yourself, and jumps off the cliff. It's like, wow, didn't see that coming. While all that's happening, the city is still under siege. Eregion, they're burning all of Celebrimbor's works, and the dwarves show up. Yeah, Durin the Fourth sent the dwarves, who Elrond thinks he sees Durin. He's like, Durin, and it's another guy, and he goes, Durin's in mourning. He sent us. And it's like, you decided not to send your army because the Balrog was awake. Now the Balrog is awake, and you've seen it, and is a threat. You've then sent your army. Worked that one out. But the dwarves show up. Oh, by the way, in this scene, they're all being brought in. Don Lemonis is alive and well. If you remember, he got stabbed a few times by Adar on the battlefield and looked like, was he dead, was he not? Not just is he not, he doesn't even seem to have a wound. It's like they completely forgot that he was stabbed, because there's no marks on him. He's not in any pain. It's like, oh, okay. And because the dwarf showed up, they win the day, but Eregion is lost. And basically, Galadriel is getting the darkness put into her because of being stabbed with Morgoth's crown, or his pinky ring, because the dude was like 8 foot something or 12 foot something. And Gil-galad is trying to use his ring to heal her, and it's not working, it's too powerful. So Elrond's like, yeah, we can save her together, and he puts her ring on. And in between that and the end of the episode is the whole Gandalf thing, which we just jumped straight into. And it just ends with them, Galadriel, Elrond, Gil-galad, Don Lemonis and stuff, in the new area that they're going to live. And they're like, they have to decide, do they fight or do they become the shield, to regroup and strengthen in numbers before they go. And Gil-galad just takes out his sword, sticks it in the air, and they all cheer. And that's the end of the show. Yeah. What an unmitigated disaster this thing was. What a horrendous pile of dog shit this show was. Thank Christ it's over. And for the love of Christ, if, and I do mean if, they actually proceed and do a season 3, there's nothing left for them to do, because they are now going to end up being caught up to the books that they don't have any rights to. So maybe just stop making it, because it is horrendous. The fact that they actually did what people thought as a joke they could do, that they actually did to give Gandalf his name, of him going, Grand Elf, Gandalf. It's like, oh my God, I hate this show. Thank Christ it's over. And it's so. Oh, by the way, they do keep showing every now and again little clips. There's a big monologue from Poppy as she's talking to Gandalf, but we're seeing different parts of people leaving cities, like people leaving Numenor, and you see smoke all billowing out of Numenor. How there's smoke and stuff, don't know. They didn't show any of that. But all that Eregion, they're walking away, looking back, and it's falling, the tower's falling, all this crap, while Poppy's giving this big speech. It goes back to Khazad-dûm, and you're seeing Durin the Fourth with Deason and the other people all in mourning around King Durin's throne. And it's like, why are you all of a sudden having like a funeral when there's a fucking Balrog attacking you? It's so stupid. I hate this show. I hate every single thing about it. It is not Lord of the Rings. Oh my God, yes. Celebrimbor calls Sauron the Lord of the Rings. He actually says that. He's getting said, you'll never be the Lord of the Rings. And you're just like, let it end. Please, Christ, end this suffering. But it has ended, thankfully. And this is the last time we have to review it for at least 2 years. So, with that, I'm thankful it's over. It was unintentionally hysterical, but my God, was it hard to watch. So with that, I shall leave it there for this one. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks for everyone who has hit the sub button. Cheers, and I will catch you in the next one.